morning, YouTube. Good evening, good afternoon, opinion at this is always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey, get your hands off snaky, folks. It's Sunday in the morning. I know you guys, y'all still trying to get the coal on your eyes, get up, wake up a little bit, splash a little water in your face, oh. I'm an old country boy. I used to get up around about 5 or 6 in the morning, but still sometimes there's days where I don't want to, especially on Sunday. I live in a place where Sunday is not nothing open. It's maybe a gas station and some legs. That's about it. So, folks, yesterday was the first half of the Atlanta Pro. Shout out to the competitors that were in the qualification. Alina Oprah, her second Olympic qualification. Shout out to Abby Bolton, her second Olympic qualification. And shout out to Nicole Zenobia, who's multiple-time Olympian qualification she has gained. And also shout to our dear friend. Always got to shout them out. My dear friends, my sisters and friends of Bad Rap, Eunice Martinez Kitchens, aka my big sister, and also Jolene Flukes, a dear friend of mine who promoted women's bodybuilding at the Atlanta Pro this year. I want to give them a shout out. Bad Rap. The moniker is Big and Defined, Ripped and Pumped. We like the rip part. And I want to give a shout out before we start. So, folks, as you know, I'm always interested in people's stories and what get them started sport of bodybuilding. This lady has an amazing story about herself, and she's all the way in the UK. She's from London, England. As most people say, we think of UK, we think of London, but she's in a different part of the Great Britain. And one of my favorite monikers is my man, my other personality, my man Jerome Rome, aka the international player of the Himalayas. So it's a great opportunity to have a lady from across the sea and share. So we have the lovely Mrs. Sibel Osman here. And Sibel competes as a master bikini competitor. And she's been in bodybuilding for over 30 years. She's also a promoter. She got a show coming up next month, September, which is the Show Pro. And it's in another federation, which is the IBFA, which is the Independent Bodybuilding Fitness Association, right?
Yes, indeed.
All right, and she's been busy. I saw her do some interviews with Sarah Parker over there. Sarah, she's also a podcaster like myself. She's a professional bodybuilder. She's a bodybuilder. She's still. I think she took some time off because she's going through some stuff. But we hope to see Sarah active next year or probably. She was here just last weekend in Tampa with her dear friends Anastasia Ryder and also Ramona Scottson. We hope to see Ramona back in action herself too. So welcome, ma'am, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me, George. And I am in London, believe it or not, of all places. I actually am in London, of all places.
Well, to the king.
I am in London town. And also, for anyone that doesn't know, my name, as different as it is spelled, is pronounced Sibel, but with an I and not the Y. So just in case those that don't know me, it is Sibel. But thank you so much for having me, George. It's always such a pleasure.
We appreciate clarifying, Mike, because I'm from the country. We see how we spell it, so
I get it, and I have to be different.
Yeah, so simple. So we have simple here. So this is the first question I got to ask you. Just always asking ladies, what got you started in sports? I call it muscle and masculinity. Please share.
Oh, that is such a great question. What got me started? I mean, I'll start in a spot and then I'll go backwards. So I'm 53 next week. So I've been doing this quite a while. So now I'm going to go all the way back to when I was 20. So that's years ago, like 33 years ago. Right now, what got me started was even further before that. For me, I always, and I think don't stand alone, being a child and wanting to be a superhero. For me, that is what I was, that kid. So growing up, I wanted to be a superhero. I loved that kind of imagery of power, strength, being able to protect, being able to kind of be almost invincible, or the appearance of that anyway. It's always magical when you're a kid. And, like most things when you're a child, these sort of things you tend to kind of outgrow them, but I never did. I actually started as an athlete when I was 7. So I was a gymnast in my earliest life. And then I want to say fell out of love with it. Maybe that's a bit harsh, but I kind of fell out of love with it around 16, because being a gymnast, although it was great and wonderful, and I got a lot of agility and mobility and all of that, and it was fun for a while, it kept me small and not big. And I kind of wanted to be big and imposing, because I never fell out of love with this whole superhero imagery. I then went into boxing for a short while. I didn't compete in that. That was always more about the conditioning for me. But then at the age of 20, I was like, you know what? I just want to get big. I want to live that dream of being big. Now, I'm going back 33 years, and 33 years ago, it was not easy to be a girl and to go into a gym that young and want to get big. It's not like how it is today. So that's kind of how it started. And then I went into the gym and took a whole load of grief from men at the time who were like, are you lost? Should you be here? Because I was in the weight section trying to get big. So that's kind of how it started. And I didn't listen, and I was passionate, and I started to do it. I wanted to get big. I did get big. I loved that whole process. I fell in love with the process of the journey of getting big, of bodybuilding. And then I didn't identify as a bodybuilder day one. My day one was 20 years old. But at the time I was like, gosh, I really want to be a bodybuilder. I really want to be that thing. I really want to get to Olympia. I really want to compete. I really wanted all of those things. And let me tell you, it was hard back then. We didn't have, it was harder for it to be accessible. We didn't have social media. We didn't have mobile phones in our hands. Like, you take that for granted in this day and age, which is great that it's accessible, but it wasn't back then. You had to subscribe to magazines. You had to really know about it and be interested in it to want to kind of pursue it. So I did pursue it. And then I started identifying as a bodybuilder kind of like 3 years in, if I'm honest. So it was about 23. I was a whole different shape and loving every minute. And I guess the rest was history. And I just went onwards and forwards and upwards from there. And today I am competing, and I'm multiple champion of many things and multiple British Pro card holder, and on my way to, I have my own further journey of attempting to turn IFBB Pro. Fingers crossed this year will be my year, and then my goals beyond that would be to qualify for the Masters Olympia, because obviously I am a Masters athlete now. And in short, there lies my journey. So in short, the answer is I always wanted to be a superhero, and the imagery of being a female bodybuilder was the epitome of that for me.
Well, what look, you want to be a superhero? I know some of my favorites some of my favorites go with Batman and Superman, and
right.
Those guys. My favorite cartoon coming up on Saturday mornings was they still show it on the Super Friends. I still watch it. I know like I said, in November I'm going to be 52 years old, and I can feel that. And,
welcome to the club.
I just like this. I was a baby, and I became a teenager, hit 30, and everything went down here straight from there. And what got me to bodybuilding was my older brother. He was. I would call my brother. I would call my older brother. I have an older brother named Carlton, but my big brother James. He used to be into lifting weights because he played. He played American football here. Not
right.
y'all got soccer. But here. It's here America. It's football here, America. But he used to get the muscle mags, like fitness, muscle fitness and flex. And we were poor kids. We didn't have the heavyweights going around. We used to lift through like logs and cinder blocks, and that really got me into the sport. And then when I got to my teenage years, something about y'all women just kind of twisted my mind a bit. It was something different The combination
Yeah,
of muscle and femininity. And I understand, it's tough to be a woman in a sport which is considered very male dominant.
absolutely. Absolutely. And you're right there. And that's a very interesting point about the whole muscle and femininity, or the masculine slash muscle and femininity kind of juxtaposition. I find that a very fascinating thing, particularly because of the category that I compete in, which is bikini. And just going back a little bit. So bikini, when I first started bodybuilding when I was 20, didn't exist, because I mean, it's what, 12 years old?
No, it's actually it's over. When it
It's
became
about,
more
is it 12
competitive, like
years?
it's been around since I think 2006, maybe 2007. It's
Wow.
been almost 20 years.
So it was long after, sorry, I should say, I started. So when I started bodybuilding, it didn't exist. So it was, you either kind of got beautifully big, almost like the figure girls, which I must admit I adore and love. I love that shape, so beautiful. And I actually did get really big at one point, considering I was so young. And when bikini kind of came to our attention, as it were, I kind of loved that whole look of exactly that kind of muscle and femininity vibe. It was just so gorgeous, and really epitomized. Like, in my mind, it was like if I was in a burning building, heaven forfend, I would want the image of the most beautiful bikini, muscular, feminine superhero vibe walking through to rescue me. Like, it was, that is the image of like the beautiful bikini muscle slash, like almost like Wonder Woman and kind of thing. So carrying that whole vibe forward to now is really what I adore and love so passionately in perfecting, because I don't think there is another category. And this is my own humble opinion. You may or may not agree, but the bikini category for me is the absolute epitome of extreme sort of femininity with muscle, because I think there is no other category that requires you to have, I mean, quite a strong, a decent level of muscle in this day and age, but also the proportions you must have, i.e. the balance and the symmetry and that beautiful feminine form and sort of image. It is unlike any other category for me. I mean, I'm not trying to say that other female categories aren't feminine. They absolutely are, and they're beautiful, and I love them all. But there is something about what bikini stands for that, for me, is the absolute definition of muscle versus femininity, even in terms of balance and symmetry and ratios and proportions versus the look that we must have on stage, if that makes sense. So it is a very real thing that I adore working toward and with as part of my work as a bikini athlete, a master's bikini athlete.
Well, like I said, with that, I would say somewhat. I would agree with it a bit. It has a very feminine look to it. But again, if you go to it, if it wasn't for women's bodybuilding specifically, bikini would have existed because
Absolutely.
yeah, it's the architect for all
Absolutely.
the other divisions, except for one division. I don't think it's really architect for it. Excuse me, it's called FitMod. Excuse me. I, it's a throwback, but again, when you think
It is a
about it,
throwback, yeah.
yeah. But the problem
It's
is,
an entry level category as far as I'm
that's
concerned.
where I see it. I think it'd be better left in NPC as an issue, as a starter
Agreed.
novice category. It has
Right.
no place when it hits the pro level because after a while, those competitors are going to evolve. Just like look how weird body evolved. Look how physique has
Yeah.
evolved. Right now, they just saw that Tyler Mann made an announcement where they're going to start putting new measurements for figure because the girls in figure. I just saw one lady who's been a 3-time Olympian in WPD did the Atlanta Pro in figure, and she just I'm a fan of her. I think she's a great physique, but it just didn't fit her. because her
I
posing is kind of
see.
off.
Yes.
She last time she competed was last year in WPD, but jumping over to figure, if you don't have that great small taper, the roundness in
This
the
is the thing, it's
shoulder,
the ratios and the balance, isn't it? You've really just
yeah,
got to get that category nailed. Yeah,
yeah, because
I get it.
you're not gonna do as well if you don't have it. I think it's best for her maybe to focus on doing masters, because in her division, or just step away and just think about retiring.
Sure. Absolutely. And you're just to speak of your point about fit model, um, respectfully, and I mean this respectfully, I am not trying to disrespect any category in our sport, but respectfully, it is an entry level category. As far it kind of specifically denotes no musculature, as it were. I mean, because at amateur level, if you're looking at it amateur level, i.e., before they turn pro, it kind of specifically states kind of no musculature. So for me, as a bodybuilder in an industry that is about muscle, I struggle with not the category, but I respectfully do, and this is my own humble opinion, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I do struggle with how an entry level category is pro. I struggle with that. Like, that is an entire contradiction in term, I think. But I think there is a place for it, because respectfully, I don't think that a lot of these beautiful girls that are in fit model, who are genetically born this wonderful, gorgeous shape, are not matured yet enough in terms of their musculature to be bikini athletes. Like, they have a way to go, which is why there certainly is a place for the category, but it is entry level. And I agree with you, it is an NPC category for sure. I just don't understand. I do struggle with, I have to say, with it. Like, how do you turn an entry level candidate to a pro? Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. It's just my own thought.
I'm going to be disrespectful, because you know what? I'm the particular heck of villain. And just, I have nothing against the competitors. I interviewed a couple of ladies.
No, quite right. Same.
I have nothing against, but I understand the purpose of it is because maybe bring more attention. Also,
Sure.
one thing, bringing money. But again, if you get to the pro level, and when you're seeing girls from the bikini level want to get back going down into that division, it reformats. It happened to women's bodybuilding when they would get pushed out.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
and when physique competitors would go, when women bodybuilders going down to physique. Right now, I'm seeing right now in just saw one lady who just made her women's bodybuilding debut this weekend. She looked really good. She's got to really work on the size. And again, it go back to the judging, because you feel like if the girls in bikini are getting styrish in the glutes, the girls getting a lot more fuller, then cap it off. Try to control it. Don't bring in something that's just going to be another problem that you have to worry about solving. So anyway,
yeah.
So
I mean, I think it actually probably started, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I understand the thought process behind it. I really, really do. I get that it's gotten, like, bikini's gotten to a point where, I mean, it's tremendously muscular. I mean, it's my category and I love it with all of my heart. And these women are absolutely mind-blowing to me. Like, these high-level bikini athletes are both masters and the under 35s at Olympia level and pro level are absolutely stunning. The level of musculature they have, their proportions are magnificent and wildly different to how it used to look when it first came in. So I kind of understand the thought process of having that entry level category. I get it, but it is an entry level category. That's my point, basically.
Well, being me, it thins my senses when it existed. But I'm just gonna be like I'm saying. Again, I'm not a competitor. I'm an outsider. So, for you, what really for your thoughts on sport and anything else. So is one thing I mentioned that you have a show coming up, which you are
I do.
promoting,
Yes,
and
yes, I have my own show. Yes, it is called the SoPro Night of Champions, and it is the 19th of September in a part of the United Kingdom called Wolverhampton, which is sort of the north of England, or more like the Midlands, so the middle of the country. It is sort of shaping up to be a really big show. I always wanted it to be very big, very exciting, full of new experiences for the athletes. Because, in all honesty, I find that as a competitor myself, I'm still deemed an amateur competitor because I haven't turned IFBB Pro. It doesn't matter if I've got pro cards in the United Kingdom because that is not the IFBB. So I am an amateur athlete and I have free reign to compete wherever I want until such time that I turn IFBB. Now, with that said, I find that the scene is respectfully starting to become a little bit stagnant in terms of the offerings that athletes have. And I sense, and I happen to know because I have contact with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of athletes a week, that is how the industry feels and the athletes feel. So with that in mind, I wanted to introduce, and I have the pleasure of working with the IBFA, that is pioneered and owned by Matthew Ali, who is the CEO of the IBFA, who I adore and work very closely with. And I have he just presented me the opportunity of, Sibel, have your own show. And I'm like, oh my God. He goes, free reign, do your thing. So I get to do whatever I want. And I've honestly, George, I have gone wild. I mean, I have multiple production teams. I'm focusing on giving maximum spotlight to the athletes. I can say all of this and because I am one myself, and so I know what it feels like both sides. So I'll have a dedicated production team backstage interviewing the athletes, interviewing the champions as they come off stage. I as you may or may not know, as apart from the work I do in terms of athletes in general and the industry in general, I also do a huge amount of work pioneering masters athletes as a sector, and another huge amount of work pioneering the disabled athletes in the disability sector. So I will be offering a stage to disabled athletes, a huge, wonderful stage and an area and a spotlight. We want to hear their stories. We want to talk to them. We want to give them everything that they need. And I will be doing all of that without divulging too much. And I have a lot planned. I will be filming with drones. I will have halftime acts. I will do everything that has never been done before, not just to give the best experience to the athletes who work exceptionally hard to achieve the physiques they achieve. And I have so much undying gratitude for them picking my stage to stand on to present those physiques. I want to give them the experience that they deserve, the attention that they deserve, but also to the audience who have made their way to support their loved ones, their friends, and just to watch the show. They're going to get one. My halftime act is unlike any other. And I might have two. I'm still working on it. But I've got multiple. I'm also, in terms of the athletes, I have about over 20, I think maybe 29, maybe 28 categories. And I'm almost all the way there to having every single category sponsored. So I want the athletes to understand that they're not just winning a trophy. They're not just winning a medal. It's not just that. They're also going to get from the sponsor of said category something, whether that is cash prize, whether that is goodies, whatever, whoever, depends on who the sponsor is. But every category will be sponsored. I have stands and stands and stands from brand sponsors at the event. It's almost shaping up to be like a mini expo, which is wonderful because I'm so grateful to all of my brand sponsor friends. And I mean everything from clothing lines to gyms to blood work laboratories. You can get, athletes can come and get their blood work done by the finest blood work laboratory in the UK. I'm having everything on hand. I have a posing clinic with a dedicated posing coach backstage for like a little 5-minute preps before any nerves for any of our new timers, you know, coming on stage. They'll get posing clinics. My disabled athletes have dedicated posing coaches for disabled athletes, because for those that may not have necessarily thought about this, you know, if I have many athletes who are amputees, whether they have one arm, one leg, or so and so forth, posing is not the same, obviously. So I have dedicated posing coaches that are trained to pose out our disabled athletes, to give them absolutely everything they need. They'll have their own dedicated area. They'll have the able-bodied will have their own area. So they'll all have what they need. I will offer designated a proper pumping zone, pre-pump foods, everything they could ever want will be provided. And that's the kind of environment as an athlete I want. So that is what I will give them. And so I'm very excited and thankful to everyone thus far, and for those athletes that are contacting me in droves to be a part of the show. So I'm really excited about it. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying this. You know, one person is I'm a fan of, and he's the guy who say with his body business, Jake Wood. Yo, Jake! I want that money. I want that gun. I can't help it every time I say his name. But I think he needs to hire you for the Olympia. You know, I mean, Dan Solomon, I think it's time for you to move on, brother. I think you maybe, as you know, they're talking about maybe getting a new president for the IFBB,
Sure.
you know, professional. And I think, you know, because, you know, it's possibly that.
There is a lot of talk about that, isn't there, at the moment?
Yeah, there was a debate between Jake or Arnold. No, neither one of them. I think maybe Dan be better, but my problem with Dan is he's not a big fan of his bodybuilding, from what I've heard. But you know, I think he understands semantics like that. But hey, if Jake needs a new person to promote the Olympia, I think he'd be a good person. But
I would love that opportunity, to be honest. And actually, it's funny because I want to, obviously, please God, we will, us high levels, we want to turn IFBB. When that time comes, I really do hope that I have opportunities presented to me to be able to do what I do best for the IFBB or for the NPC, because I think that it's time. I agree. It's time. Mm-hmm. You know, we need more. We need change.
Yeah, the problem is it's change has to come for the athletes. And the thing is, this is from an old school wrestler I remember watching when I was a kid. His name was the redneck Captain Dick Murdoch. But the problem is, a lot of these bodybuilders are a bunch of yellow-bellied, egg-sucking dogs. They're too afraid to. That's the truth of it. They like everything as it was or as it is, but yes, not afraid to. No one wants to take that risk, like, you know, to step out there.
That's it. I mean, I think it's easier, like, to leave things as it is. It's easier. So they just leave things as it is. And I think, although the reality is everybody wants the change. If there isn't a single athlete that comes my way that doesn't get beyond excited, like absolutely screaming with excitement at everything that I'm about to present. Everybody wants it. No one's prepared to do it. That's the difference. I am prepared to do it. This has been my sport, my love for 30 years. I'm all about giving back, even if it means, by the way, I self-fund everything, George. Like, I'm not, everything is done from the goodness of my heart. Like, everything I do. So it's not like I'm granted or I have a grant or a government fund or something. No. And I'm not in this for, sadly, I'm not in this for the money. I mean, I say sadly because this isn't really the industry. This industry doesn't have money to give. It's not like American football or British soccer. I mean, you're talking about athletes that are earning hundreds of millions a year. This doesn't exist in bodybuilding, and certainly doesn't exist at all at amateur level. So, but that doesn't mean to say that the athletes at amateur level on exceptionally high standards. I mean, my God, they are. There are some amateur level athletes in the United Kingdom and Europe. And I must say, I'm having athletes fly in from other parts of Europe to stand on my stage, and some of them are disabled. Now, I am honored and privileged for that, because that's quite an undertaking to fly in from another country to stand on another stage. I'm very respectful of that. These athletes are, some of them, George, are absolutely sensational. To not respect them as an industry and only focus respectfully on the IFBB pros, who get all the attention in the world, and they should. They're pro athletes. We must respect our pros. They are all exceptional. But that doesn't mean to say that the amateur athletes should be entirely ignored. And we've got a wonderful up and coming bodybuilding media channel here called Front Double. And I do a lot of work with them, and they cover me quite a bit because of the projects I'm working on and the things I do to give back. And they cover actually all British bodybuilding. This is the kind of coverage and company, and more of this, please, media industry, is what we need for the amateur leagues, because these athletes are sensational. And how are they ever going to get sort of the spotlight they deserve, or the industry gets the spotlight it deserves at that level, and progress onwards and upwards, if we don't, as those of us in certain positions, if we don't all contribute to that? That's my thought. So if I just was one of those people that sort of just sat there and thought, oh, wouldn't it be nice if this happened and that happened, or there was a stage where I'm like, and then just went, meh, and then never did anything about it. But that's not who I am. And that's certainly not what I believe in. Much like Eunice, but our dear friend, who has the exact same love and thought process in terms of making this sport great again. And I said this recently, and I think it was with both Front Double interviews and with Sarah Parker's Beyond Condition, that, you know, I sit here today and we're talking about making this sport great again. But why again? Why did it ever stop, you know, being great, or losing its way, or getting diluted? You know, we must uphold standards.
Where it goes back like this, especially the mainstream, they don't take bodybuilding as seriously as a sport. It's, to them, it's more like a pageant. And then also, one thing about bodybuilding is always going to be the use of performance enhancers. I mean, everybody looks at it because you get these big muscles and you just take some Patrick pills and stuff like that. You get big, but they don't understand the training, the consistency that's involved in building that muscle. Like, it's a different level. We look at from bikini to women's bodybuilding. You know, the training is different, but it's still the same consistency. And then what you do, you know, put up the money, and you know, you have a big heart, but in some cases that's a large heart. That's what I have. you know, and yeah, I have a pacemaker, so I got to do that. But that's something that's really good that you contributed. And, you know, and are there any sponsors, or like, what's the whole semantics? Because I know you can't go too much details of it, but what's the whole semantics behind it? Like, you know, the sponsorship and everything like that involved.
So in terms of the brand sponsors that I have on board, how that works is, simply put, so let's start with, because there's two types. There's the sponsors for the categories, and then there's the sponsors for where they come in. For example, let's say if Eunice was in the UK and Bad Rap was coming in as a sponsor stand, they would take a stand and they would be present and display their you know, their items, whatever it is they're selling, whether it is clothing, whether it is supplements, whatever, and then they'd be available and sell to the athletes. Now, that's so that I can enable to benefit and promote those brands. I get nothing from that. It is about brand promotion. So I am of the belief that, you know, if we don't support each other and we don't give our British born or European born or US born small businesses who have got something to say, something to give, the support that they need, then what the hell are we doing here? Quite honestly, what are we doing here? You know, I've got all of these brands Every single one of them are coming in to set up a stand and to be part of my show so that they can support my show by giving athletes and the audience their goods and their wares. And I will support and promote them so that I can enable them and kind of support their business. I get nothing from that. At all. Like they pay a nominal amount, and I mean a very nominal amount, to have the stand, which goes towards administrative expenses for the venue, the end. And as for the sponsoring the categories, if a brand pays to sponsor a category, that money goes to the winning athlete of that category. It does not come to me. It is for the category, for the athlete. And if they are not paying, then they give like goodie bags or a gift basket, or depending on what, if they're a supplement company, they might give a gift basket of supplements to the winner. Or if they're clothing, they may give hoodies, if they're, that sort of thing. And it's about kind of the community of support, to create a environment, a show, a community of support that not only supports small businesses and businesses, but also gives the athletes what they need and access to certain services, businesses, supplements, products that they may not otherwise have necessarily had. For example, having blood work laboratory there, a lot of that, how important is that for us, assisted or otherwise? I mean, mainly for the assisted, but to be able to have that done on the spot, for some just really isn't that necessarily that accessible. I want to make everything accessible, and this is how I'm doing that. And also outside of the brand sponsors, just having the production teams on hand to give spotlight to every single one of these athletes, I think is something very personal that every athlete respects and appreciates. And also a lot of them have never had the experience of, because I think a lot of athletes do just sometimes feel like a number. The bigger the show, the bigger the federation. It's like, you're all a number, you're literally all a number, and then you come on and then you go off and then there's one winner and it's like no one else matters kind of thing. I don't want that to be the case with my show. Everyone is respected. Everyone's journey is respected. Everyone has worked hard. Everyone has done a prep. Everyone wants it as much as the next person. And I want to make sure, even though there is only one winner, we know this, per category, for example, that doesn't mean that every other athlete isn't equally as respected or equally in the spotlight or going to be totally ignored. Now, I'm not saying that other federations do that, and I'm mindful of what I'm saying here, but I'm speaking broad spectrum, and I'm also speaking as an athlete myself. I'm also speaking of a promoter that wants to create something slightly different and an experience that is unlike any other. And my bigger hope would be that not only have I hopefully achieved everything I want to achieve for my audience, for my athletes, my brand sponsors, but also that I might infect any other federation watching, maybe infect them with my enthusiasm towards making things different and great, but also to maybe just inspire others, other promoters, others to do more, to push and do more, to give back. I don't care if they take, if they're all welcome at my show. I don't care if they take my ideas, just bloody do it and give the athlete and the industry what it needs in abundance. Because I think it's time, George. It's time.
Stop infections. We just got out of the pandemic. I don't know no infections. Yeah, I gotta be careful. We have a comment here. Shout out to my guest. Got to put my old man glasses on for a second. He says this is from my man here, Tom Henry. He says these athletes are amazing. Thank you, Tommy. I appreciate that. Yeah, because as you know, doing this content for a while, I get to learn things. Like one thing is also the sanction fees to pay for each division of class. The cost of promotion. One thing a friend of mine said is that some of these bodybuilders should do more advertising for when you do the shows. So like go on to a radio show. You don't have to be you don't have to be a bodybuilder podcast. It could be just a podcast with someone like who do sports. I mean,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it just needs bodybuilding. Really needs a kick of mainstream interest in it. Because I remember back in the day, you used to go watch it on television. You used to come on like local, NBC, ABC, ESPN used to carry it. Fox Sports used to carry it.
Yeah, you
But
had that in the US. We actually never had that in the UK.
yeah. But
Yeah.
now you don't really see it anymore. You have to be like yesterday I watched pay-per-view for the Atlanta Pro. I was rooting for the ladies. I gotta say, it may not be the 80s, but I'm down with the ladies. And,
I wouldn't have
um,
it any other way, George.
yeah, because there was one point they had the men's, as I call them, the board shorts, and
Yeah.
and they had them, so I had to wait through them to get to the women's bodybuilding. But I respect those guys. I had a couple of guys out here who do could be that divisions. But that's the thing, is that the people have to be wanting and willing to step up and to maybe give shows like that an opportunity. And also with people with disabilities. I've seen people who have Bell palsy, or who have severe disabilities, who still take the time in and train. And you have people talking about saying like, hey, yeah, you gotta do this, but these people have disability. This is a video. I think I'll find it. I sent it to you. This young man, he has these both. He's like, bit a boy, and he's like I think he's 20s, 19 now, and he's just in great shape. He looks like somebody you really would love to have compete at your show. If I find a video,
I would be delighted. I would be delighted. I have some I will send you some pictures of some of my incredible disabled athletes that I have contact with that will be competing at my show. I mean, I am in awe, in absolute. My heart is so full, and they just inspire me every single day. And I recently said this, but I said I literally say I do not know how any able-bodied person has the temerity to complain about anything when these athletes, they don't complain. They're in the gym. Whether they are in a wheelchair, whatever, they are beyond inspirational to me. I mean, the work they put in is by far greater than any work an able-bodied athlete puts in. And another thing I would really like to just to put out there for those that maybe aren't aware, and I don't blame people for not being aware, because there just isn't the education or the information, which is another thing I'm working on changing, is that every time a disabled athlete, regardless of their disability, largely if it is a visual disability, because I will do visual, seen and unseen disabilities, mixed disability right across board. But let's speak of the visual disabilities, the seen, whether they are amputees, wheelchair, etc., or palsy, Bell's palsy, Parkinson's, whatever it may be. When they step on stage and do a 1 minute routine,
folks, we have some technical difficulties. What's going on? Sibel. Sibel? Sibel. I think Sibel, we lose a connection. Give me a second, folks. I might have to turn my phone. Sibel. We might have lost connection with Sibel. Give me a second. Me turn my phone a bit, because she's. It might be if she's on her laptop. I hope she's not on her laptop. I think. Let me see if I can send a message to her. If I can. Give me a second, folks. I'm putting my old man glasses because I need to read. Wait a minute. Give me a second, folks. She's just black out. So, folks, I'm going to do this for a bit, and if you don't mind, I am going to put myself out. I'm gonna try to contact her, so we'll have a little break, and you'll be watching the other guy for a minute. So, give me a second, folks. There she goes. Hey folks, we just had a technical difficulty. We got it back.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right. That's all right. That's why I like to live. It happens. Are you on a laptop or on your computer?
I'm on a laptop.
That could be a problem sometimes.
It could be. It also could be the ocean between us.
Yeah. Well, that happens too, because I know when I do interviews with ladies like either the UK or another country, but sometimes I had problems with that here in the United States. It's just sometimes it's depending where you're at in the connection.
Of course, it
but
happens. I'm sorry to the audience. I'm so sorry about that.
But that's all right. It's just, like I said, we just keep on rolling.
But
what people with disabilities, they want to be seen, because in this country years ago, people with disabilities fought the right to be seen because of the opportunity. I'm disabled. I have, like I said, I have a heart condition.
Yeah.
I'm also getting older. I got arthritis in both knees, like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Getting older, George. No,
that's obvious. I've been, like I said, I've been working since I was a kid, and sometimes stuff builds after a while. But what you're doing is really good. I mean, giving opportunity to athletes who are disabled, or athletes who are mature, because quite a few of my interviews, I've interviewed a lady herself who's 62 years. She just turned 62 just last month. Dr. Danielle Mitzi, and she competes in bikini herself. It's easy for her because it shows her for the States, because the Masters are really blowing up. And the mature competitors. I had an interview set with a young lady. She's 24. I was supposed to have an interview with her earlier last week, but then we were contact for a good bit, but then I don't know what happened. I mean, that's why I think I enjoy getting the opportunity to talk to the mature competitors, because y'all set a time, y'all regimental, y'all don't play. We can talk about stuff, and you'll be easily offended if I say something like, say you have a nice rack, madam. But thank you, George. Yeah. Hey man, I'm a Southern gentleman, man. It is my nature to tell a woman she's beautiful. It's my nature.
Thank you.
But yeah, what you're doing is pretty good. So folks, while we got it back, we got it here. We'll do this. We're going to jump into social media for a little bit. If you want to follow Sibel, her links are in the description of this live. You want to check her out. If you're someone interested, maybe if you're a competitor, you want to take part in her, especially if you start as a bodybuilder and you want maybe a organization you want to start off with, because what, everybody has a beginning. Reach out to and genuine interest. But guys, I do this as a warning, guys. She's a lovely lady. She has a nice smile, she's just very, and I don't, the bikini girls, I really, y'all spot my interest a little bit. I like the girls.
I mean, we are special, let's face it.
Yeah, special, yeah. But guys out there, don't be that weird guy. Don't send like, I'd say, hey, Steve, I saw your last interview and I saw those pictures and I click. No, stop that, you sick freak. Have some, have some common sense.
Don't do it, guys. Don't
do it. Don't do it. You're gonna have two faces. You're gonna have the guys who say, "Wow, she got some nice muscles." I like it. And the guy says, "She's too buff. She's a man." And what the hell? What do you see, man? It gets me, because I post something.
I know.
I post something a while back. It's from this guy. He goes by 4 weeks to the beach. And he posted about how guys talk about women in bodybuilding and with muscle. And you know what? Again, when I hear guys make comments like, "That's a man," yeah. Where do you see anything? I'm a man. I got bigger boobs than some women in bodybuilding. So where do you see anything manly about this woman or any other woman that does this sport?
Exactly.
Just, sometimes in some cases.
You know what? Sometimes I think it comes from a place of their own insecurity. Just because they're not happy as men, whatever that image is in their mind, just because they're perhaps not happy with how they look, or they might be presented with a woman who is muscular and has more about her than he does, then all of a sudden she's a man. It's just projection, and it's sad. And it's really sad. If they took all of that energy and put it on themselves, as opposed to trying to belittle someone else because they feel little themselves, then maybe they'd be in a better place. But none of us women, guys out there, excuse my French, give a shit about that type of opinion. We don't care. We have worked too fucking hard, excuse my French again, too hard,
French and British.
too hard for decades as female bodybuilders to care an iota about what a small-minded individual has got to say about what we've achieved. Focus on yourselves, leave us alone. We focus on ourselves. Bodybuilding as a sport, as a discipline, teaches us one thing above all else, apart from the obvious, teaches us to work on ourselves with purpose, on purpose. It is bodybuilding, and we work hard every single day to build our physiques to the levels, the dizzy heights that we as an individual wish to take it. It teaches us individually to work on ourselves. I don't go to the gym, get up at 4 a.m., go to the gym and train hard to work to build someone else's physique. I work to build my physique, to work on myself, head down, stay in my lane, focus on myself with consistency and discipline. What the hell has that got to do with anyone else?
Yeah, that's the problem. But you know what? Here's the thing, guys. If you don't like something, here's the advice. Don't say nothing. Mind your own business. Don't do things.
Shut it
we got here a comment. This is from a gentleman here. His name is Sean Stanford. He's laughing, rolling emojis. Appreciate that, brother. So again, we're going to jump into Sibel's. Also, I think he has another comment. He says like this. He says this. So he says, yeah, that's true, and hard work. Yeah, it's hard work. You know,
yes,
not everybody like the great Roddy Koopman said that everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, but they want to lift this heavy ass weight. So we're gonna jump into it.
Everyone wants to respectfully, everyone wants to look like us, but nobody wants to do the work to get like that. Like it's all well and good. There's a lot of this. There's not enough action. Less talk, more work. Shut the fuck up and work. The end.
Don't
bitch. You know.
Yeah, it reminds me of what my favorite comedian says. Paul Mooney says, like, everybody want to be an N-word, but no one wants to be an N-word. Like, everybody wants to be black, but they don't want to be the responsibility of what it takes to be black.
Absolute nonsense. Like, you know, there's a lot of talk in every area of any sport. There's a lot of talk, but isn't it funny how those that do a lot of this are the biggest non-achievers on the planet? Achieve something. Shut up and achieve something. Less of this, more work. Work hard and keep your mouth shut. It's no one cares.
Yeah. So like I say, we're gonna jump into social media for a bit here. We're in her IG. If you want to follow her, the links in the description of this live. And again, this is one thing I like. She promoted this upcoming interview. This is right here, and she took my my avatar there. That's my avatar on my YouTube, and I want that Joker in the corner. I like that. I want to have that. That'd be a new avatar. I can put it to my IG.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, I like that. And you took the crowds. You're getting this color. I like this. I like when someone step up and do something like this, because I know, ladies, you're busy. You got this. You're prepping like that. You got life, but it will take maybe a few hours, maybe just a few minutes out of your time to do something like this. And also, she competed last year at the European Championships and Euro Masters. I know a couple of ladies that competed there. Euro Masters. I know a couple of ladies competed there. What's that experience? Because this is in Milan, Italy. What's that experience like for you? It is in
Milan, Italy. Yes, that was that was actually my second time. That's a pro qualifier actually, dedicated for masters. As you said, in Milan, Italy, and it is a magnificent experience, and it is absolutely my favorite show. Run by the promoter Barbara, and I've got to tell you, George, there was circa 2,200 athletes that weekend. Bikini competes on a Sunday. I usually arrive on a Thursday, allowing myself just some downtime before the weekend, and athlete registration and so on. It is a fantastic, magnificent, awe-inspiring show and stage. They care so much. I always have an incredible treatment from all of the staff there, and Barbara's team, just fantastic. And honestly, to one day achieve, hopefully this year, I will be there in November to achieve my pro card on Barbara stage. Frankly, having gone to Milan and watched the shows years before I stepped on her stage, or certainly thought before I thought I was good enough to step on her stage. To turn pro on her stage would be a true, real dream and an honor for me.
Mm-hmm. So, what was the critique from the last show we were there last year?
My feedback. So my feedback was to bring up my glute. So I mean, I don't know any bikini athlete that never hears more glute. But yes, I needed to have more projection and a little more to the top, the shelf of my glute, really, and sort of fill out a little bit more, be a bit more fuller in the glute area. But other than that, I placed second actually in Europe, so I did extremely well. I was absolutely honoured with that. So this year I hope to place first and go in. I'm absolutely significant. That is how I look now. I am significantly different to how I looked last year, November, and I'm so proud of the improvements and the growth I have made in line with my judges' feedback. The judges were incredible. I spoke to them all. They all said my package was wonderful. Oh, that's an anime made by one of my most favorite followers. And I adore them when they do things like this for me. It's so nice. But yeah, it was about sort of just generally being this year for me to bring something unseen before, bigger, more defined, more conditioned, more fuller, more alive, as that is also a week ago, that picture there. Just more, just more. And I think that I have definitely done that. And I am so proud of the work that I have done. And I'm really excited to start my season, which starts in September. And I just can't wait to get on stage and demonstrate my new package and eventually get myself to the Milan stage again in November and really go for gold for my pro card.
Yeah. So, who's your coach? Who are you working with? Oh, wait a minute, folks. I gotta check. I think we might be having problems again. I think we might be having some technical difficulties again, folks. Hello? Oh, yeah, again. Well, folks, we're having, again, technical difficulties. This is going to be one of those interviews. We're going to have that quite often. I'm going to suggest to her to switch to her cell phone because, whatever it is, I think, yeah, you need to switch yourself. Hello? Hello? Send a message to her. Give me a sec, folks. So, folks, while she get the message, let me look at these comments I got here. Shout out to my man Jeff come through. Hey, Jeff, he says, good Sibel, love your sense of humor, and the nails, you should have a talk show like George. Yeah, all right. I think she does a little stuff. I think she's busy right now, so she probably eventually do it. True, there is a lot of talk, achieve things. Yeah, Jeff, sometimes he's working your spelling. So, folks, what I'm going to do, we'll go back into our social media for a bit, and we'll run a video where she's doing some talking. Here, she has an amazing body, I would say. I think one of the pictures what got me into her was when Eunice sent me, I believe it was, this picture right here that Eunice sent me. That said me say, what do you think? And I think, wow, she has a lovely body. What she does figure? Said, no, she's bikini. I said, what? I mean, the muscularity, she has great abs, look at the shoulder. I mean, there's a debate that she maybe think about switching divisions eventually. But she did do she did an interview with a lady I've been talking to, but she just popped back in. Give me a second, folks. And she just popped back in. Uh, there she is. So we're gonna come back and here you go. Yeah. Again, folks. Again, this is the thing about live. Things happen, and it's fun. But as I was
But
talking earlier,
it's fun. It just puts the fun in everything.
yeah. But anyways, ask you, who's your coach? Who are you working with?
Yes, my coach is incredible. As far as I'm concerned, the best in Europe, actually. My team is Team MHD. My coach's name is Mauro Colelho. He is an IFBB pro himself. He's currently in the US competing. He's just done the Miami Pro, the Chicago Pro, and is at the Atlanta as we speak. We have some team members there. So he's an incredible coach and singularly responsible for, as far as I'm concerned, turning me into the dream, the dream physique I've ever wanted as a bikini athlete. We work so incredibly well together. He understands me as an athlete. He understands a master's athlete and physique. He understands what the criteria requires, what I must look like, what it requires. And that's the wild difference between the coach that I had last year, which was a different coach. Now, I'm not in the business of defamating or speaking badly of anyone in this industry. It's really not my style. But unfortunately, the coaching style last year, with the coach I was with then, it just didn't. It just didn't really end well, because by the time I had gotten to Milan, I had experienced a great deal of atrophy in my glute, which was because I was badly managed, for want of a better description. And the significance of understanding what a master's athlete and what an individual athlete requires is critical when it comes to coaching. Unfortunately, not every coach is capable of managing a high level athlete, and certainly not a high level master's athlete. We are not the same as 20-year-olds. When you're talking about denseness, dense muscle. I mean, you've only got to look at me right now as I'm speaking to you, how dense my muscle is as a bikini athlete, just in the image that you can see right now. So not to be able to hone that dense muscle in correctly is critical, because I can end up losing it. And high level athletes, George, we do what our coaches tell us to do. We do what we're told. We don't deviate from that. That is our job as an athlete. Our coach is the boss. We are the athlete. We entrust our career in their hands. So if an athlete does not look their best, you can look toward the coach for that, as far as I'm concerned, when I speak of myself. Now, I'm not saying every athlete's like me, but that's the principle of the thing.
Here, I said that's a good point. But also sometimes your coach can get too involved in your personal life. Like sometimes it's good that his part is to help you train your body, but anything else, that's on you. Like
absolutely correct.
I remember I talked to one young lady. I was, hey, you want to do interviews? She told me, let me talk to my coach. This is not about him. This is about you. I want to talk to you. We'll mention him. We'll talk about him, but other than that, it's about you. And then I remember one athlete said, well, why did you do this show? This could be said, no, my coach want me to do this show. Okay, I understand that. But this show could maybe, one thing is if you win, you don't have to worry about paying the entry fee to when you do a national qualifier. Sometimes it's best, because some competitors will say, you know what, they take their coach of advisement, but then anything else they had to do is on them. The training, everything else, that's their job. But when you get too much, because I did a conversation where we have situations where coaches can get very intimate and physical with their clients. It happens here. I know one lady, she's dating her coach. That's the thing, is they've been in a relationship. That's cool. That's understandable. But in some cases, some coaches can be predatory. because
Inappropriate. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
And
yeah.
now that, guys, if anyone out there is in a situation like that and thinks that it is normal for a coach to be inappropriate or sexual or advance themselves, that is absolutely unacceptable. Now, I understand that everyone's an adult here, but also, you know, let's put it this way, and I'm going to be blunt about this. First of all, I have never, ever been in that situation, and I'm thankful and grateful. But let me tell you, George, as a master's, as a grown woman, if a man did that to me as a coach, let me tell you, it would be the last thing that they did. Not sorry. But now, if I was a 20-year-old and inexperienced and naive and didn't know any better and had great aspirations and wild aspirations of like achieving my greatness and all of that, if a coach was predatory, and they do exist, and saw that this was a young, beautiful, inexperienced, naive girl, and thought that the way he could fill his boots, for want of a better description, was to kind of romance her into, oh, trust me, I'll get you there, but you know, I need you to send me nude check-in pictures. If you're getting asked to send your check-in pictures nude, which does happen sometimes, George, call the police. Call the police and sack that coach. That is unacceptable. There is no world where a prep coach would ever ask their athlete to send nude pictures, ever. That does go on. And if there's anyone listening out there that feels a little uncomfortable with a scenario, leave. If you're being asked to do anything inappropriate, leave. If you are not achieving equally the results you want to achieve, leave. You are paying your coach. They are paid. They are working for you to get you to your destination, whatever that goal may be. Now, that doesn't mean you get to demand and tell them what to do. They're your coach. You know, you're hiring them to do what they do best so that you can do what you do best as an athlete. My coach is the best thing that has ever happened to me as an athlete. I could not be happier. I have never been happier as an athlete. He is a consummate professional. My check-ins are timely. He's always available if I have questions. Now, the higher level the athlete, the less maintenance they are. I mean, you know, we know what we're doing kind of thing. So, you know, when my coach is always available, if I ever have a question or a thought process, would he ever stop me from doing a show I wanted or doing an interview? Absolutely not. His role as my coach is to manage my physique out as an athlete, watch my well-being as an athlete, and make my dreams come true, realize my goals. My coach lives and breathes my goals and my dreams with me. That is how he works his butt off, basically, with me so that I can achieve my greatness. That's what a true pro coach is about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. You know, I think this
In
freeze again.
order for
Oh no, we have. She was cooking. She was cooking, but now she is. Folks, this is one of these interviews is gonna be a bit. Give a minute.
yeah,
Give it a minute, folks. Give it a minute. I have to edit. You know, it's already live. You already seen it, but then I have to edit on my. She was cooking. She was cooking, and give it a minute. Maybe she'll come to the States. We can do another interview. But I feel like, yeah. Don't you hate when she was cooking? She was cooking, folks. She was cooking. But she does give a good point that ladies, you know, not just ladies, but gentlemen too. You know, but I think women get more approached by predatory coaches than men do. Men, you do get you are also get approached, but it's a lot easier to sexualize men compared. It's a lot easier to sexualize women as men, but men do get sexualized because the fact is no one likes to talk about it as much. Guys can be victim of sexual assault, abuse also, but because focuses on women because they see women as the weaker sex. So she's back. We got to do some, a lot of editing later on this one. It's I see her in the studio, but she's not coming in. I think I hope she switched the phone. Let me kick her out and see. I'm gonna kick her out of the studio. Maybe she can try again. You know, you do that, but something's going on. She'll figure it out. But folks, what I'm gonna do is real quick why she's getting figured out. We're gonna go back into her IG real quick, and she did an interview with a lady who I've been talking to. I hope I have her on the guest, and that is Sarah Parker. Sarah competes in the UK as a bikini competitor. She's an amateur herself, just like her. And this interview they did some time ago.
Athlete, and they're not. Yes, it is fair, because what you decided to do in your life has no bearing on what I decided to do in mine, or what she decided to do in hers, or what he decided to do in his. You decided to take a path in life, and then the latter part of your life is when you decided to go to the gym, explore fitness, perhaps then decide to go down the avenue of being a master's bodybuilder, however long that may take you. That's on you. It is not something that a seasoned athlete who's given their life and soul for the God knows how many decades, it's not for them to be penalized because you decided to come on stage the latter part of your life. Now, I'm going to park the masters for a minute, and let's assume that you asked me that question for an under 35. What would be the difference?
I'm the fire in a silk suit.
I watched that interview with you and Sarah last week. As you know, Sarah's a great person. I mean, I was hoping to have her on, do a little interview while she was here in the States, but she was busy. As you know, she was in Tampa last weekend, because it was supporting a lady who's been a guest on my channel, and Anastasia Ryder, as you know, she was the person who started the GoFundMe to have women's bodybuilding at the Tampa this year. Anastasia, Romana were there, Sarah. It was great. Yeah, I mean, Romana, she's getting married, with her man Dan. Yeah, I'll tell you, we get married, be like, "I's married now, I's married now," because it does be exciting. She's a beautiful person too. Again,
she really is beautiful.
All you women are beautiful, not just external, but internal. Because conversations we have with y'all ladies, sometimes there's some ladies that we talk on the phone, we talk about things. Some ladies who are really cool with me were like we talked about earlier about the progressive pictures. I know a couple ladies who see some the progressive pictures and get my opinion. And I pick up and say, "How dare you send these pictures to me? I am a must have heard smell. Y'all ladies excite me, y'all buff bodies. I can't help myself."
There he is again.
Yeah, I can't help it. I can't help it. But I'm professional. I tell them why I see it, get a critique. Because doing this, I learned a lot from the conversations and things. And again, I admit my crime, Miss Osman. I must have smell y'all ladies do excite me. But I do learn something from y'all. We got a comment. Shout out to my man Jeff. He's, I appreciate him coming through. Great kid. He lives in my home city, North Carolina. Says, "George, I'm looking forward to the Muscle Monday. I may be going to be a bodybuilder." All the best to you, brother. But
exciting.
Yeah, exciting. He's a good dude. He has a little bit of a she's like psychical disability, but it's pretty good. Yeah. So,
that's nice.
For you, is there anybody particular that you follow, you pay attention to, that you admire their work ethic, overall physique, especially be it in the men's division, women's division, NBC, IFB, whatever? Who do you really pay attention to?
That's a really good question. That's a great question, because I don't know that there is any one individual that I necessarily, kind of follow over another, because there are so many, George, that I follow just in awe, and a lot of them are, I cannot choose a pro. I think they're all just fabulous. And they all bring something extremely different to the table. But even with the amateur athletes that are currently really high level at the moment, that are really close to getting their they're realizing their dreams and getting their pro cards. I mean, there's just so many, and I adore them all. I really am. With me, I've never been the one that just thinks, oh, just this one and none of the other. These athletes are incredible. And what is so wonderful for me anyway about the sport and about all of these athletes is how eclectically different each and every one of these athletes are, and their physiques are just the nuances and the differences in their physiques to me are all just as magnificent and beautiful as the other. I cannot choose. I cannot. I watch them all. I comment and follow all. I'm known actually for how supportive I am in the industry, because I genuinely am. I'm so excited for every single one of them. This world is big enough and this sport is big enough for all of us. There's no need to be like, narrow-minded and unsupportive. What someone else's achievements and greatness has no bearing on yours. So just be supportive and be supportive of all. And what is wonderful, actually, doubly wonderful for anyone who is aspiring to either be a bodybuilder or has just started out or thinks that not winning means you're losing. Wrong. So note all of these bodybuilders are just so different in what they bring. And isn't that so beautiful? Isn't that so inspiring that you don't need to be this or that? You can be any of those things and still be successful and wonderful and a human work of art. This is not a cookie cutter sport. We are all individual athletes and we all have individual physiques and levels. And the beauty of the sport and the beauty of being a progressive athlete, because it is a progressive sport, is how we grow. So how could you not follow each and every athlete's journey and progressively see how they've grown? There are just so many that I love, adore, and respect. I wouldn't even know where to begin to chant their names, but I post them or I talk about them or I work with them regularly on my page so you can kind of follow and see. But honestly, George, all of them is the answer to that question. All of them. I love them all. I watch them all, and I'm rooting for every single one of them as much as I root for myself. I adore them all.
Yeah, there's so many ladies that have become particularly these ladies here. This is a lady's dear friend of mine, Tina S. Williams, and
Beautiful.
That's her with Melody Specco. Melody Specco competed back in the day. Melody's been going through some stuff right now. Shout out to Melody. That's her coach and a friend to Tina. Tina's an amazing lady. She's a mother, wife. She's a competitive bodybuilder. She has a beautiful body. I always talk about Tina. I mean, she's a great person. Can't forget our dear friend Eunice. Eunice is going to be 61 in about a month or so. She's a great person. What she's doing, her and Jolene doing, really fighting for. This is when I was in Tampa last year. This lady who I met, her name is Keo, and Keo just got a pro card last year's at the North Americans and made her pro debut, and they both were there. Shout out to Jolene. She's a great person too.
Shout out to Jolene.
This weekend, Sharonica Hinton, she's competing. She's in Tampa. I met Sharonica when I was in Tampa. She's a beautiful lady. I think she's the epitome of WPD. I honestly I hope she does get a pro or Olympic qualification, because she's an amazing person.
I think she will. I think this is her year.
Yeah. Also, I can't forget a lady who I got to meet was there. I look like a big old bear hugging on a little baby. That's Ashley Jones. She gave me a shout out on my channel. Shout out to my man, amazing. Alex, my nephew Alex. He was in Olympia that year. She got second place, and he just gathered to give a shout out for me. And and again, I remember when I was with Eunice, I got to see this gentleman, Mr. David Lee Roth. I would never met this man in my life if I didn't go to Tampa and have to use it. But the one person for me, the one person for me that really is I can't help it when I talk about her, and that is Andrea Shaw. I mean, she's just, oh my gosh, she's just so beautiful. She just look at she got the box and goes, I want to go a couple rounds with you, Andrea, but I need to do a lot of sense of holding. But this goes back to I always want to give shout out to my friend Eunice, and I know as my other guy says this, he says if you get something simple, never do it for free, and this for me, I call it my payment. When Eunice was at the Olympic back in 2023, when you have it in Orlando. And she ran into Andrea, and she got this issue of muscle development. It was like a little bit, I think maybe a few days after my birthday. It's just, she said, hey, something comes in the mail. It's a late birthday gift. I said, what is it? Well, you see it when you get it. And when I got it, I was so excited because it's so beautiful. Oh. What makes it so special is that she autographed this for me and thanked me for my support. And I got another lady who's a dear friend. Her name is Nicole. Nicole Peace in OCB as a figure painter. She's an OCB pro, and she sent me some pictures. I like the picture. I appreciate that. I've gotten stuff and gifts from ladies over time doing this. Christmas cards to pictures to one lady sent me some stuff. I appreciate this from those that I've made contact with doing this sport. We're going out again. Ah, shit. This is, don't you hate when we start cooking and we can't, I think we might have to do another interview one of these days, something set up. But we did lose her. Give you a second, folks. I'm just gonna, we lost connection again. I might just have to kick her out and see she'll try to reboot. I hate that happens. But what I'm gonna do, we're gonna jump back into her IG for a bit. She did some other interviews. I'm gonna pull those up.
"19th of September in Wolverhampton is shaping up to be a momentous event. I have been working around the clock to make sure that all you athletes and spectators get an event you will never forget. I am a woman of firsts, and I like to ensure that everything I do has a very unique SoPro stamp on it. This event will be no different. I intend to instill and have instilled and set up a number of exciting features never done before that I think all of you will enjoy immensely and get really excited about, as excited as me. I'll start by saying that I have a myriad of brand sponsors, which I am eternally thankful for. Thank you to all of the brand sponsors getting involved in this monumental event. I'm also 50% through getting every single category sponsored. Now that will mean that our athletes, our winning athletes, have a little surprise from the sponsor of said category, as well as the trophy and medal and invitational invites to whatever show, finals, British finals, French championships, etc. I also have Target Productions backstage interviewing all of our athletes, because all of you are very, very important. You are, after all, our stars. So we will hear about how you're doing, how your prep's doing, and also interviewing the champions as they walk off stage. Another very important focus for me, the IBFA, is our disabled athletes, our superheroes. They will all get a very special spotlight backstage and on stage, where we will hear and find out more about each individual journey and how they managed their prep and how they got to our stage that day. Beyond that, I have something super exciting. I have many things that are super exciting, but what I also have never done before is I will be filming the event in addition to having ground staff, photography, videographers everywhere, Target Productions backstage. I'll also be filming the entire event with drones, drone filming. So you will have angles and perspectives never seen before. Only the best for you guys. So beyond having the normal, I want to introduce something very special. I will have Aura posing backstage, doing a posing clinic, a 5-minute kind of tweak before pre-stage, before you go on stage. So anyone that wants to check their posing, get a little tweak, make sure everything's on point. Lauren Dexter of Aura is on team, and she will be backstage the entire day, helping all you athletes out, as well as many, many more incredible things that I am working on for all of you, which I will not, and I do not want to divulge. I will say this: I have a very, very special half-time act. Now, Shakira was fully booked, but I do have something just as special. Our event, by the way, is family friendly. So if you have children, bring them along. The halftime event is going to be something to behold. I will reveal more in due course. I lead you all to the IBFA So Pro Night of Champions page on Instagram, where I always regularly drop new sponsors, brands, whatever is happening on there. But also there is a link in the bio. If you go to the link in the bio of this page, you can register if you're an athlete that wants to get involved in this. I definitely would. And also, if you are a spectator and want to buy tickets, they're also available now. Link in the bio. I really, really cannot wait. I am super excited to be able to showcase all of you talented stars and also give the audience, as well as the athletes, an experience never to be forgotten. I sincerely, sincerely can't wait to see you all there.
Well, that's great. That's really. She said it earlier, but you like the music and everything in the background. That's really cool. She's wearing a baseball cap. Trying to look cool.
And that is my brand, the So Pro brand. So I have my own clothing line, and that's what I was wearing.
Yeah, that's cool. So as you know, this quite a many men and women's sport. I grew up in the good part of the '80s. Arnold was really big, Lee Haney, and all those other guys. And again, it was y'all women like Corey Earson, Richard Lesh, and Carla Dunlap, and Angela Langer. They kind of changed my progressive mind. But but the thing is that everybody gets something out of this sport. Be it's the training, the regiment, the consistency, the discipline. I mean, for you, what's the day-to-day for you? Like when it comes to training, what is it like? Because as a bikini competitor, y'all don't need to get as big and yoked as the girls in the other divisions.
Yeah, we need to have as a bikini competitor, our focus, just like any category, we have specific focuses. For us, it's obviously bikini categories focus on glute. The size of that glute will depend on what category you're in. So a bikini, we focus on glutes and the posterior chain and our top line. So we need balance and symmetry, sort of the epitome of the X frame, if you like, for want of a better description, wide, narrow, wide, but balanced. So that's the focus in terms of achieving that balance and symmetry. And my training will consist of 3 lowers a week. And by lower, I mean glutes and legs variations, and 2 upper sessions, which will be my back and my shoulders and my triceps. I don't really work my biceps. They're big enough. And I certainly don't work my chest. No bikini athlete has any business working their chest. And what do we need? I mean, that's never going to be like feedback from a judge. Oh, you need bigger biceps and a wider chest. Like, no. So that, we don't do things like that. So we focus as bikini athletes on real specific areas.
And also the important part is you're posing, because compared to other divisions where you have, front double, rear double, with figure, you have some similar poses, but yet y'all don't have to show your back as much. Posing is a very important part of it, because sometimes because I know I have guys in the interview say, hey, ask them to flex. Say, no, they do enough flexing, they posing and practicing. They get tired of that. Because this is the thing about this sport. There's so many things that's involved with it. And again, it goes back how people look at it because of the extreme nature of the sport, how you can put on muscle. But it takes time, But I think there's also some people try to do everything quick, fast, in a hurry. And what I've learned from conversations with you ladies is that bodybuilding is not a race, it's a marathon. You want to be able to last
Correct.
long. You don't want to get burnt out. You don't want to get wearied out. You don't want to maintain because you want stamina. You want longevity. You don't want to come in here, hot as
Yeah.
a flame, then burn out within a year or 2 months,
Yeah.
or
And creating physiques at that level is a long game. You're not just going to wake up one day with this incredible Olympia level physique. It takes years to build physiques. It takes years to grow muscle dense and bubbly and beautiful. It takes years, which is why athletes who have been competing, or doesn't even necessarily mean competing actually, but athletes who have been bodybuilding for decades and years look wildly different to build a physique. So this is a long game. Don't rush it. Be the best you can be as an athlete. Be the best you can be, not just as an athlete, but also the best representation of your category that you can be. And in order to be that, you need to work hard and long. Take time. If you need to take time out to grow, then take time out to grow. You're nothing without muscle. Nothing. We're bodybuilders. We're not professional dieters. Nobody cares. My dieting is this much before a show. My building phase is this much before a show. Majority of my year is spent in my off season growing, because that's my job. That is how I get to look the way I look, and how I get the muscle mass I get is because I go off season and I do it right. And then I dial down just for the show to reveal the muscle I have grown in my off season. My job is to grow. My job is not to cut. Is that body building, not body cutting? That's not what we care about. Do you know what I mean? We're nothing without muscle.
Yeah, it's a job, but it's a job where you're not really getting a lot of financial benefits out of it, especially as an amateur. I see this often. Like, if you look at it, if you compare it to other sports where you can make a living off of, there's only a few percentage that can, even in the IFB, can make a living off of it.
Agreed.
And then the cost of, because you're going all the way to Milan to compete. You have to go to this show for a regional. You got to go for a pro qualification. Then you have to pay for your coach, your food, your travel expenses, your suit right there alone, supplements, dieting, gym, and for the women, the guys, they have their expenses. They do. It does cost more because they got to put muscle. But the fact is, show day is the biggest expense for a woman. For a guy, they got to slap on a pair of banana hammocks and board shorts. That's it. Put on some tan, and you can put maybe some gel, or you can do like me, you just shave the head off and just keep on moving. But women, you have to have a presentation. You must be feminine, very attractive, very sexy pleasing. Hair, makeup, nails done, your high heels, your suit right there. That's a good amount of. As we know, we have dollars, y'all have pounds.
It's £600. I think that is $800.
I'm using $800 right now but I'm broke. But it's just, again, for you, is it worth it to put all that money into something where you don't get much back other than maybe, hey, I might be pro or a pro in every organization you've been in? I think she froze up. Hello?
So I suppose it depends what you could getting it. Like, for me, and I made, and it's not necessarily about me getting money out of it. Like, I do my sport for the love of my sport, for the absolute love from the bottom of my heart of my sport. I actively got into competing knowing that there was no money in it. So you do need to be smart about these things. If you're thinking that, turning a pro bodybuilder means you're like a pro footballer, it is not like that. It will cost you more money than you will ever make. And if you're fortunate enough to be sponsored and receive money or receive something, then great, but it certainly isn't going to cover a damn thing. So, it's helpful, but that's it. So what I get out of it is not monetary. What I get out of it is 100% achievement and achieving my goals. That is what I get out of it, for the love of what I do and for the love of what my sport. And I got into it actively, consciously knowing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have quite a few cats.
So it wasn't about money for me.
Yeah, I feel like something. It's not about the money. The money's not that important, but it's nice to have, you know, a little something, because, especially we get to a point in our lives where, you know, I don't work anymore because, you know, I have a disability, but I do, you know, after I pay my bills like that, then I just stretch out. I'm planning on a trip to go to Pittsburgh. I've saved some money aside, but, you know, I often might need a little help. If you might want to, you know, sponsor my trip, I really appreciate that. But I was like this, like any sport, it should be a sport where you can, where you can focus on it, because if you get paid for it, you know, like you got to pay your sanction fees, and where does that money go, you know, to the athletes? And we don't come to see the judges or the promoters or the who's at the MC. We come to see y'all. And, you know, it should be something invested to the future of the athletes.
That's
like
right.
I talk about this. Yeah, like a, you know, sort of like a, you don't have to do like maybe like a little pension. So I got my friend, I call him my big brother, Mr. Big Keith Williams. He just got a hospital last month after being there most of July. Now he's played American football back in the day. He still gets a little pension from that. But from the bodybuilding, it just don't, you know, he's IP pro. What's the point of that pro card and that paying that sanction fee if they don't take care of their athletes? Like, you know, the NFL, NBA, almost every major league sports has some kind of program where they help their athletes when they get to the point where they want to retire or they get sick, or hell, even if they die, you know, they have something to cover their expenses. Because this is a sport where, you know, best way to say it like this is from the movie. I love quoting movies. The movie Incredibles. There was a scene where Bob is talking to his boss. His boss says, "It's your job to keep us in the black." Even though you pay insurance, and that insurance money is to go to helping you, they try to cover that money. Even though it's supposed to be going to us when something happens, but still, these host companies, their job is to stay in the black so they won't go into red. You're not going to go broke, but still, they want anybody to get anything out of it but themselves.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, folks, one thing I ask these athletes, especially, you're prepping right now, and I know after your last prep, you know you be starving. You want something. What's that thing? What's your favorite thing you like to get? That thing that's calling you right now that you get. If you ever get a chance to eat it, what is it? Share with me. Share what's that thing that you desire the most. That thing that makes your mouth water.
I am never. Do you know what, George? I'm never starving in my prep. I never understand. Like, I'm always in shock that people are like starving. I eat so much. I'm sorry, everyone's going to make a voodoo doll of me. And I know you're going to hate me right now, but I eat so much in my prep. I'm never hungry. I'm in cruise control. I eat so much, honestly. I eat like 5,000 calories in my off season a day, and I eat like not much less than that in my, like, I'm at probably just under 3,000 calories in my prep. Like, I eat so much. Me. Genetic freak.
Everybody has that thing, but what's that favorite thing? If you got a chance to, you know, especially as you know, everybody after the show has something they want to indulge in, something a little salty, something a little sweet, a little greasy. What's that thing that be calling you? That thing, as my other guy would say, it makes you stranger, but it makes you stronger.
The favorite? Did you say? George, I lost you there. Did you say my favorite food? I lost you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. What's your favorite?
My favorite food.
Yeah.
I love something called Biscoff. I don't know if you have that in the States. Do you have that?
Oh, it's like a cookie. Yeah. It's yeah. We have it here.
Okay, so we've got it out of a jar, right? Like you get the spread, like the, oh my God, it is.
Spread, yeah. I heard about, it's like peanut butter.
That is my favorite thing. So anyone out there that wants to bake me cakes, chocolate cakes with Biscoff, oh, that's my heaven. That's my treat. That.
Yeah.
Biscoff cakes.
I know it's becoming very popular here. I think I saw like there's some ladies who I follow. They're really foodies. I mean, a lot of Bibles are foodies. There's one lady, her name is Alex. She also posts little videos of cakes like that. Sometimes don't see that stuff. I had some ladies say, George, you think you see some food porn? I said, what? You say food porn? I said, yeah, because I mean, like they're
I know I say that. That's so funny.
Yeah, because sometimes they just like to watch. It's like, like I like to watch porn every now and then, but I'm a guy, I got nothing to do.
I'm sure
But,
you do, George. Muscle mummy.
Well, not all of it. I like the old fashioned stuff too. As you know, I am a pervert at heart, but it's just so hey, I'm bored sometimes. It's not much just to do on television. But that thing is that everybody finds something they like and pleasure of it. But the thing is, it's not as important part of the process. You want to be consistent with your diet. You want to be focused. And you want to be maintaining because you want to derail your opportunities, and especially being a woman in sport. Yeah, especially a women's sport. Like, it's very important of having support as you talk about sponsorship, but like friends and families. Like, what was it like for you when you started doing this? Like with your family when you got into it, full blast in the bodybuilding.
They were pretty cool, actually. My family's always been pretty cool. I've always been different, so they've always been supportive. I've always been in sport, so it wasn't unusual. At first, they were like, bodybuilding, you want to get big? They were like, you know what? That's pretty cool. So they've supported me like the whole way. I can't say they don't understand it for the most part, but they're supportive of me, and if you know what I mean. And that's cool because you don't need to understand something to support someone. If you love someone and they're into something, then support them even if you don't understand it. Like, I've got friends that play cricket. Do not ask me to explain cricket. I do not. Just because I don't know about cricket doesn't mean I'm not supporting my friend. Do you know what I mean? Like, be supportive in life. Like, everyone who's into something should be celebrated because they're passionate about something. It really doesn't matter what that thing is. So I'm lucky and I'm blessed. I have amazing friends, my inner circle, as I call them, my extended family, and I have an amazing family that just, even though they don't understand it or me, they support what I do and me all the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good because I've had conversations with ladies where one lady I interviewed a while back, she was married and her husband broke up, and because I think sometimes maybe some men, we don't feel comfortable when we see a woman changing or doing something different, and maybe it's not something for us. But the thing is, if you love that person, you say, you know what, I may not like it, but it's something that you like doing and something that's making you the better person you are. I'm supporting you. But again, as I said,
my question to all men out there, if you're listening and you are that man, what is there not to like about it? What has it got to do with your relationship? At the end of the day, if your wife or your girlfriend is a athlete, a bodybuilder, and competes, then what is there not to like about that? She works hard, she grafts, she doesn't go out, she doesn't drink, she doesn't do anything out of the norm. She's regimented, she's in bed by 8, she's in the gym, and she repeats. Then she goes on stage and she's on stage in a lineup of athletes fighting for her goals and her dreams. What is there not to support about that? What's your own insecurity her being on stage? Like, a lot of men have got an issue, and I know this from my own friends, an issue with their partner being on stage in a bodybuilding competition for her to be covered head to toe. Like, it's a physique competition. Obviously, she's going to be standing up there in a bikini. What's the problem with that? There's no about being a bodybuilder. Actually, it's completely the opposite of that. If you understand the sport and you no longer look at the female form, for example, in a sexual way, sorry, but we're looking at the female form in terms of physique and achievement and excellence and shape and symmetry. We're no longer looking at it like that. So what is the problem? I would love any man out there who is that guy to answer.
But that's the thing is that, as humans, that's what we are. We are easily distracted by the idea of our sexuality. Like one thing, if you like, imagine if you go to a show and you have your friends and family there and saying, "That's our girl Sibel. She's doing good. Yeah, we're cheering on her." And Anson Gay says, "Yeah, who's that dark-haired little raven? I mean, she got a tight little body on her." You have, because that's the thing. They thinking that some guy is because it's so easy for us to sexualize something like this. And the thing with women is, women get sexualized, but men get it a bit more because, there's guys who's standing out there. They're in their banana hands and board shorts. You see all the thing. Women, you see that because it's easy with women, but men get it. I think just about as bad because I watched this thing where some guys talk about how sometimes for them
I think they get it as well. I think, yeah, they both.
Yeah, look, I remember my friend Keith told me a story about Jay Cutler. He told me a story how back in the day Jay used to do this when he used to work out. He'll sell his old gear, his shirts, stuff like that, and dudes would buy it. And one time he told me a story how Jay took and sprayed some water on some. Jay, if it's a true story, it's not true. You can tell me not stop saying it, but I got it from somebody who knows you from firsthand. And he said to the guy sent it back and told him it was not you because it smelled like him. And he had to change his plan. He had to always remember sending the guy's right stuff because there is. Yeah, because even in the bodybuilding, there is a fetish to it. Because as guys like myself, we're called we're called schmoes because we find women like you attractive, and we look at people look at this weird because they make comments like, "Are you gay?" Here's again, you're a woman, I'm a man. If it's one thing, if I'm looking at guys like Lee Haney or Lee Labrada, or if I got to meet Derek Lumford, and I didn't realize he was that short. Look at those guys in a way. Like like this guy called the Booty Warrior says, "I like you and I want you." We can do the easy way, the hard way, but women like yourself, we look at these bodies, how you take and you build it, and we don't understand the process. How from the diet to the dehydration to the cutting and everything involved in it, but we see these amazing bodies in these little suits, shredded, vascular, just on the stage, oiled up and tan, and that's something that can be easily construed as sexual. But again, like I heard in comments how it's not sexual. It's not looking at an ass. You're looking at glutes. Not looking at breast. You're looking at pecs. Not looking at legs. You look at quads. There is the technical term of it, and there's the term of the outsiders who look at it as as sexual. Yeah. I mean, it's for you, for bodybuilders, it's easy to separate that, but for anybody else, it's harder. And I think for a man, we see. Imagine his girl or his woman or anybody in a position where she's walking across the stage. I think for him, it might, kind of offend that he has to fight somebody over his girl or something like that. But again, this is something about you as a competitor. This is something you found. It's something you go over there. And if you don't want to stand by it, fine, cool, go your way. But if you see this as, this is something that you want to do, and if I truly love you, and I say, go for it. I might not like it too much, but after a while, it might even change you. Say, I might want to go to the gym, work out with you. I might want to hang out with you. Maybe I'm not going to be a competitor, but I might make those changes. And that thing is, you have to be willing and wanting to make those changes. You can speak now. I'm done.
I agree. And if you're a man and you have a beautiful woman and you're fortunate enough to have a woman who is a bodybuilder, competitive or otherwise, consider yourself very lucky. Consider yourself a man who's hit the jackpot, because having a woman with that much discipline, that much consistency, that much heart and soul in something like that can only transfer into your relationship. I can assure you, a woman like that does not give a shit about anything other than her inner circle, her family, her husband, and her sport. Period.
But other than that, you do have some women who can be a little difficult. Women, y'all are difficult. It's basically like this. It's like a Prince song. It's I hate you, but I love you. But I can't stand you, but I love you. It's like I said, I never really had relationships. I had relations, and the one person that I really cared about the most was my dear mother. And this is why I started doing this. because when she got sick, I was taking care of her, and I needed something to help with my mindset. And then when I started talking about you ladies, because I was been a fan of you ladies for a long time, and then started doing content and then doing interviews. And after she was gone, I said, you know what? Now I have no one but to take care of myself. At one point, I was almost 500 pounds. Because
Wow.
food was seen as a way as a comfort. But then
Comfort.
when I start interviewing with you ladies and you telling me stories about this and diet regimented, I'm not a disciplined because yesterday I had chicken wings and some cookies, but I try to be a little better as much as I can. But a while back, I had assessment. I'm at 412 because I do little
Great.
stuff
That's
like
good.
412. Yeah, I was around 487 back in 2020. Now I'm down to 412. I had some hiccups here and there, but when I talk to you ladies and you tell me your stories, you share like some ladies, like you were athletic background. Some ladies were like overweight, obesity, and fault. I still take my medication because I gotta be careful because I have an issue in my heart and my pacemaker, and I gotta be careful with that. But from the information I gained from y'all, I use it into my own life. And again, I'm not gonna be perfect. The diet, one thing I need to work on, most definitely. That's one thing to work on, but I do get better at it every day. But from these
Good.
exchanges, I gain knowledge. And I think that's one people need to realize when you get to talk to a lady that does this, who is either not a bodybuilder, she could be any kind of athlete, track star, gymnast. You talk about boxing. I get a good amount of content interviews with ladies who do anything from boxing to bare knuckle to even MMA.
To combat
And
sports, you do. Yeah.
yeah, those sports, those are different levels of building and developing as an athlete.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing is, I think people need to get out of their idea of what a woman should be. My mother had to raise me, my brothers and sisters. And one thing she never said was she was like a father to her mother and father. She was our mother. She had to do what she had to do. And that's why I have respect for women, because you have to do what you got to do. Like I worked with women. I worked in gas stations, or you call them petrol stations, with women. I worked in the textile factory with women. I worked in a gentleman's club with women. So, and I see what you have to do for yourselves, because this is a tough world. Even though women don't make up the good amount of the population, but still, it's like James Brown says it's a man's world.
It is a man's world, George. And let me tell you, as I alluded to earlier, even when I started out this, first stepped into a gym to embark on my bodybuilding journey, I was 20. It was 33 years ago. I was sneered at by men because what business have I got in the weights area? Of a gym. There's always been stereotypical, ideological ideas about what a woman should be, and she belongs in a kitchen and that blah, and all that garbage. But it's nonsense. At the end of the day, women have always been, and I'm sorry, not sorry, but the stronger sex, because we have to endure and put up with like literally more than the male, basically. It's age old. You've only got to look back to the daughter time, and your mother is an incredible example of strength and resilience, and how much a woman will do without exception, selflessly, to protect and serve her loved ones, or forge her way through life to achieve whatever it is she has to achieve, a lot harder than it is for a man. It is a man's world. I'm a woman. I'm also a realist. It absolutely is. So women definitely need to be respected, not just as women in sport, regardless of the discipline, but women in general who have achieved anything have had to work harder and fight harder to get there than a man. And it's still, by the way, in certain countries, a higher rate of pay as a baseline than a woman, because they're seen as the provider, even in this day and age, when actually I've provided for myself my entire life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. And you know what? Again, it's always go like this. Men and women, I say like this, we're the same species, but we're different breeds of species. What woman got to do is what she got to do. What a man got to do, what we got to do. And it's good that we have those differences that make us come together. What's for that? We can create the babies and love the ladies, But folks, I'm not going to hold it much too longer. because we're going through technical difficulties, going in and out, in and out. Maybe we can
I'm
have
so
her.
sorry about the.
That's not your
I'm
fault.
so
It's just
sorry
something that
about
happened. Don't stop apologies. Stop apologies. Woman, this is my show. I built this shit.
I apologize.
You foreigners, y'all are supposed to be nice. Nah, this is the stuff that happens. It happens.
I know it does.
But the other thing is, if you're a man who support women like this, good, be supportive. But don't worry about these people out there who do have a problem with it. That's their problem, not yours.
Yeah.
And conversations I have with you ladies, sometimes we have good conversations. Like me and you will talk every now and then. I know another lady, she just did a show just the last weekend, a regional show. She's hoping to get a pro card maybe this year, not next year. And we have conversations. And every so often on Monday I do next Monday I have another situation we talk about the growth of women in Asian women population growing the bodybuilding. Like just saw the lady Shiro who just made a switch from physique to women's bodybuilding.
Well, you know what, George? I competed in Hong Kong last year, and some of these women are beautiful. It's on my page. You can see that whole thing. Yeah, absolutely incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a few ladies like one lady, Marilyn Yee. She's an IB pro. She's originally from Hong Kong. This Big Jane, she's from Thailand. A couple of Filipino competitors. I mean, it's really back in the day. There was like maybe a couple ladies that were from Asia, like Japan or China. There's one lady. Her name I see a video. Her name is Young Hung. She's from China, and this girl, wow. I mean,
which category is she?
She's WPD, but if you look at her, you might think women's bodybuilding.
Wow.
Yeah, I seen the view. You can check her out.
Yeah, Sydney.
Yeah, she just got a Olympic qualification in Omaha about a couple months ago. Super. But again, it's about what you want for yourself as an athlete, what you want to present. And you're doing good works with your upcoming show, which is the Soho Pro, where it's not just for Pro. Soho. I'm thinking there. So again, So Pro, where you not only have master athletes, disabled athletes, giving people opportunity to be more inclusive in a sport like bodybuilding. Here we do have wheelchair competitions. That's really popular. Yeah. I know a friend of mine, his name is David. He runs his own channel. He did an interview with a wheelchair competitor. My friend KL the Wanderer, he also does content. He did an interview with a young lady who has Down syndrome, and she competes in another organization. I've seen a couple of videos. You want to check them out. But this is where it's about you as an athlete, what you want to present, the time, work you put into effort. And again, people, it's not about what pills they take, what they shoot up, whatever. If you're not as consistent with your diet, if you're not as regimental with your plan, don't put in the importance of rest and recovery. Go and see a doctor, make sure you check your blood work, making sure you follow whatever your coach gives you within reason. If you don't do that, you can take all the shit you can take, but you're gonna look like melted ice cream. You're not gonna look like that. You're gonna look like me on steroids if you don't.
You are not gonna look. Taking performance enhancing drugs are not magic beans. You don't pop a pill, go to bed, and wake up looking like Jay Cutler or something out of a Marvel comic. You have to work hard. Actually, 4 times harder if you take something than not. Because if you think that it is easy for your body to sustain taking performance enhancing drugs, and you think that you're just gonna take it and not have to work that to death, basically, to achieve a physique, you are wildly mistaken. Like, just taking performance enhancers and expecting some miracle overnight is dangerous and very stupid. We have to work 4 times harder taking something than not taking something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, it's not about how I said this. It's a process. And it's not about trusting the process. It's understand the process, what's involved with it. Once you understand it, then you know what you need to do.
Correct.
And again, it's not for everybody. If it's something that it's not for you, good, cool. But don't disparage somebody else who gets involved with it. And one thing goes back to and also go back to the cost of a big competitor. Sponsorship does help. If you're someone interesting, she is still an amateur athlete, and also she has shows she want to promote. If you're someone interested in being involved with it, you're interested in maybe sponsoring her and her show, or just really want to sponsor an athlete, reach out and genuine interest. Don't look for something in return like, hey, if I see this money, Sibel, what do I get? Do I get something?
You get a ticket to the show.
I don't want a ticket. I want to see those. I want to see them. But no, that's not what we want. We want people who want genuine. Like this is. If I could do this, I'll put on my professional glasses for me. Just said, Mrs. Osman, we find your candor very interesting. You're a very intelligent lady. We like what you're doing. And we'd love to be part of your upcoming show and also sponsor you as an athlete. If you feel our product is something that might be valuable in your process and also in towards your future, let us know. We'd like to have you part of our brand, and maybe you'll be ambassador for us, or we'll be ambassador for you. So, madam, if you feel like it's something that might interest you, let us know. We're happy to be part of it. I'm done with that's my speech. So, what you think?
What is your product, sir?
Well, right now we'll let you know. But sign the contract, baby. Just sign the contract, baby.
Speak to my manager, George Page.
Yeah. So we were like, hey, whatever it is, she can't. No, we're not gonna do anything freaky. Can't be anything wrong. We don't want her to, be too. We don't want her to look like walk around looking like Samson Dua. We want her to look very feminine. We want her to look like we don't want to be something very professional.
Yeah, absolutely. And equally, I just want to extend out to all of your listeners and watchers that anyone is welcome to fly over. If you're coming over to the UK or you fancy a trip, my show is on the 19th of September. I will be delighted to have anyone there. And if you are a competitor and you want to stand on an international stage, a UK stage, I would be delighted to host you. So please reach out. I promise it will be an amazing experience.
Mm-hmm. And every folks, like I said, get the link to her IG description. You can also follow her other links to the So Pro if you want to check it out. Yeah. Also if you want to reach out to her, if you have somebody who has a good idea you want to sponsor, not just her, athletes at the show, if you want to cover the cost of them, again, it does cost a lot of money, a lot of moolah, to fly from here to this and here and there. If you want to cover the cost of their flights or cover the cost of their place you want to stay, if you have somebody who owns an Airbnb in the area, say, hey, if you're coming here to do the show, hey, we can put you up here for the night. You don't have to pay anything. Those little things help. They help. Yeah. There are things that we help in the process. It also relieves stress because sometimes money can be stressful. So before we let Sibel go, what would you say would be something that really can help towards your future, be as a competitor, as a promoter, or just generally a person really want to really put the word out for bodybuilding in general?
Personally, for me, maybe I'll answer that with two heads. For me as an athlete, what would be really helpful if I had in an ideal world is for the NPC/IFBB to host and put on more stages for masters athletes, more shows that are masters shows. There are only 4 in the whole world a year. If you are an international athlete, and I am not talking about US residents, I cannot compete in the US. I am not allowed because I am not a US citizen. If I turn IFBB Pro, I am allowed to compete in Pro League, but as an amateur, I am not allowed to compete. So there's only 2 international shows a year I'm allowed to compete at, but there are only 4 in the entire year globally for masters, and none of them are in the United Kingdom, and only one of them is in Europe. So I beg and I plead for the NPC and the IFBB to please put on more masters stages for us athletes, because we deserve it and we need it and we are ready for it. That's me as an athlete. Me as a promoter giving back to the industry. What I would love with all of my heart is for the industry to support promoters like myself in order for me to enable me to give back. I do, as I said, everything from my own. I fund it myself. So whatever I do is self-funded. I would appreciate, I want to do more, but I am one person and I'm limited in my funds sometimes. So if there is a way to support promoters like myself. I would love to hear about that in terms of an industry. I would love the industry to change and offer avenues for promoters like myself to be able to give back. I would also like the industry to do more, to be more proactive like myself. There are so many areas of this sport that get absolutely zero attention and love. That, like I spoke of the Masters, I've spoke of disability. There are other areas that require more and deserve more. So I would urge any federation, promoter, anyone in any part of the industry. This is outside of NPC and IFBB. There are other federations and other amateur leagues. Please, can we do more? Please, can we be more progressive? Can we do more? Can we care more? Can we offer more? It should be more than just myself or a choice few individuals that are fighting tooth and nail, working round the clock to give back. We should now all give back. And athletes, please respect people like myself, federations, promoters who are working round the clock to give athletes and the sport and you all more, because it is not easy. It is not easy. So the more we all come together, the better we will all be for it. George, that is my answer.
Well, that's a pretty good answer. You know, yeah. I mean, that's pretty good. Again, as a person from outside, I wish also a little more financial assistance, more benefits as competitive, be NPC, IFB, or organization in. You know, your athletes are the ones that the people come to see. We don't go. Yes. You know, like I said again, I'm not buying a ticket to go look at Tim Gardner or look at whoever's the judge of the show. I want to see y'all. I come see there. Like, you know, as you know,
and there wouldn't be a show without us.
Yeah, you know, and again, also the promoters also should think about the spectators. Also, hey, look out for us too, and also the athletes. You need to promote yourself, and also we need to do a show. Promote that show if you're going to, you know, get the word out there. You know, no one knows who. Like, I know who Andrea Shaw. You know who Andrea Shaw is. You know who Samson Dewar is. I know who Samson is. You know who this much. I know, but most of the everyday person do not. And that thing is, you got to. I know social media can be a pain. I know there's. I think they talk about. I think somebody say do a week speech on social media. I can't do that because I'm a content maker. I got to stay on my game. But both the athletes, the promoters, the people out there need to really put in the time and the work and invest into this sport. Yes. I do my little thing here. I wish I could do more. I have a small channel. It's not as big. I'm just hit 6,000 subscribers just about a month ago. It won't be long for I hit 7,000. I've been doing this for about 7 years. It took time. It took time. And you know, and I reach out to ladies, do interviews. Sometimes I get a good response. Sometimes I don't. And some lady says that I don't like what you do. Well, fine, that's cool. I move on. You know, and I'm not chasing after people. I mean, I've done that when I was younger, chasing after women. I say, you know, I'm done with that. You know, I'm too old for it now. But if you are a person who's willing, wanting to share your story, willing, wanting to, you know, speak about this, talk about not just a sport, but being a woman in the sport, or just being somebody who's dedicated to something that's maybe not the norm. This is probably about myself. My man David. There's also the guy named Claudio. He's right there in your area. The hardcore female bodybuilding medium. He's a good dude. You know, shout out to Claudio. The female bodybuilding channel. Just recently, the channel, this guy took it off of YouTube, but they got it back. Shout out to AJJB. I did a couple of lives with them, a couple of podcasts with them. Man, David, who I mentioned, he's a great guy. You know, he's really blowing up. My man KL Wanderer. He's a really good dude. He's more a fan of women of muscle than of the sport, but he's really good on his stuff. And also, there's another guy where we had done something together, but you know, I'm not gonna talk to you about much.
But you see, the more of this, the better. You know, we need you guys. We need to promote. We need more. We just need more.
Yeah, just need more. And the thing is, also, you ladies, because I've been told her that maybe once you finish with your prep, you can do something like this. Because like what Sarah does. Because if we hear from you, if you hear from you ladies too, like you know, that's something I think that if more of you, I know I have ladies that say, I'm too shy, I'm introverted. Here's it like this. You walk on stage nearly butt naked. So you're telling me you're shy about coming on here and talking with me. Don't give me that shit.
Well,
Come on.
interestingly, George, you mentioned this a bit earlier, but about it going mainstream, I'm in the process of doing exactly that. So in the coming months, I definitely will bring much to the mainstream for sure. So watch this space, definitely.
Yeah, and mostly that's one thing. One lady I follow, Valentina, I think she's a Russian bodybuilder. She's competed back in the day. She does a lot of stuff on Main Street stuff. I saw a picture with her doing it, posing with Marlon Wayans. There was a video that posted somebody shared with me where she was at a comic show when she was talking about. She's a two-time Olympian herself, and
Yes.
just need for y'all to get out of that mindset that you're introvert. If you have enough courage to walk on a stage, let people judge you and look at you. You're nearly butt naked. You can have that same courage to jump onto a podcast,
Agreed.
do a news
Absolutely.
broadcast, do your own thing. Again, you don't have to be like a bodybuilding podcast. It could be something like Joe Rogan, or it could be whoever the big podcast. I've even seen one lady, her name is Jenny Aguera. She is a pro, but she doesn't compete. And she did this one called, I think it was Coffee and Cleavage. And one of the girls, I couldn't help but still
wow.
Yeah. I seen that link. Check it out because she has a beautiful physique. She's a mother. She's a coach. I follow her. If I could afford to pay her, I would love to be her my coach. But I'm a bit hard headed with I'm trying to do something on my own. But I think it takes everybody to have that to get. One thing I learned is to learn to be comfortable, be uncomfortable, to get out of your own way. I wouldn't have gone to my first vitamin show in 2022.
Absolutely.
If I didn't get out of my own way. I wouldn't have gone to Tampa if I didn't get out of my own way. I'm hoping I can make it to mostly Pittsburgh because I called my sister. I'm gonna stay with her because she lives a little closer to where I need to go.
Right.
I'm taking a train.
Great.
The town. Yeah, these things I got to do because if I don't do it, I'm gonna sit back and say, you know what, I have to.
I wish I did it.
Do it.
Oh, exactly what I was saying earlier. Don't be all that. Don't be a talker, be a doer sometimes. Like if we were all doers and less talkers, like less talk, more work, like we'd achieve more. The same goes for these people who are naysayers and haters. They're quick to their motor mouths, but they don't actually do anything. George, I've got faith in you. You can do it.
Well,
I've got faith in you, brother. And I'm going to send you something in the post.
Oh, I appreciate that. I do.
Oh,
You don't have to do anything. This is, again, you owe me anything. I appreciate the opportunity.
I don't owe you anything. This is a gift from me to you.
I mean, this is I'm a little old country boy, man. I hate to be obligated to a woman, but I do appreciate anything.
I tell you what I love in the US. I actually have a home in Florida, in Orlando, Lake Mary, and so I do travel back and forth sometimes. My favorite thing the US gives me is shrimp and grits.
I can honestly tell you, I hated grits since I was a kid. I don't like grits.
I do not know what it is about the grits. Shrimp and grits.
My mom, back in the day, my mom cooked some mean grits. Put a little butter, have some sausage, a biscuit on the side. But I hadn't eaten grits in years. I can't remember last time I had any. But yeah, I do this because this again gives me a purpose. When I talk to women like yourself, a lovely lady like yourself, a lovely lady from the UK, yeah, baby, yeah, and share your stories. This is. I have ladies say like, I'm not anybody. No, it's not about who you are. It's about who you have become. It's about sharing your story, about finding your path, doing something that's very extreme, where people wouldn't necessarily do it. Not all people have that same discipline and mindset to get into bodybuilding. It takes a lot. And that's the tough part of it. We can be easily distracted. And also, again, go back to food, because food, especially in the South, is very comfortable. But, we have to change your mindset. And that's one thing I'm still learning. I got to work on, most definitely. And, women like yourself, women like you and Eunice and so many others that I've interviewed, I appreciate any time you come on here and share your stories. This is, for me, it's a highlight.
It's really a pleasure, Jordan. And thank you so much for having me. I can't tell you how much I've loved it. Even despite the technical difficulties, we love a bit of excitement with live TV, but it's been such a pleasure. And thank you so much for having me, for listening to my stories, for showing me some interest and some love. I am so eternally grateful. And if there's ever an opening, I would be delighted to come back again. And so thank you so very much.
Well, you know what? sometimes I do this. I don't see figure time. I think it might be every once, usually at the end of the month, at the last Sunday, I do a little panel. We come together, we talk about some stuff. And I call it's my Sunday roundtable discussion. I started a few years ago. I know a friend of mine, he did it,
How
and then he
exciting.
kind of fell off. I picked it up. And since I'm going to be going out of town that next weekend, I'm going to do a thing on the 23rd. And I know something we might talk all over again, but if you're interested, 23rd, I think it's about 3 o'clock my time, would be something like 8 o'clock your time, I believe. I think is because I think
8
you're
o'clock, 8 p.m. my time, I might be able to do. I'm actually at a show. I'm exhibiting at a show on the 23rd by the coast, but at 8 p.m. UK, I should be free. So I should be able to sign on.
Because I have done I do also think every Monday called Mama's Talk Mondays. I had pleasure a lady who's been a guest on my channel, Ryan Martin. She's an IFB figure pro and master competitor herself. And it's posted a clip from that interview we did a while back. And I enjoy when ladies jump on because it's usually me, David, some other guys. Not as much as hard legs, as we say in the terminology.
Yes, I actually watched this. I watched. There was 4 of you, and I saw that. So, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, because I do get it's a great pleasure when I get a point of view from women that compete in the sport and share their thoughts because it really validates me as a content maker when I get you on. And most times it's gonna be us guys most of the time because we're gonna talk about y'all ladies. You know how men we talk about y'all women. We're men, and we're fans of y'all ladies. But again, ma'am, I have a quote from my favorite movie, which is Batman Begins, and when at the end of it, your fellow countryman Gary Oldman, who played Jim Gordon, in the movie says to, and the other, he's Welsh, but he's still within your area. That's Kristen Bale.
Of course, yeah.
We said to him, at the end of the movie says, "I never get a chance to thank you," and Batman turned around and says, "You never have to," because this again gives me purpose to give women like yourself a voice, to give y'all attention to y'all, and make you realize that. Y'all not just big women muscles like that. Y'all women. And again, for you haters, I say this to haters. God bless you because you know what? We care so little, but you care so much. So before we let you go, you have anybody want to give a shout out?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I want to shout out, first and foremost, to my coach. Thank you, Maro, Team MHD. I want to shout out, obviously, to Eunice, to Jolene, to Sarah, to Sarah from Beyond Condition. I want to shout out to Ellie, who is my right hand. I want to shout out to Harry, who is my left, and my team. I want to shout out to my family and all of my inner circle because I would be here for hours listing them, and also George, to you. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Well, again, you never have to. That's why I do this, But I do like to think that my guests that came through. Thank you to Sean, to also Tommy who came through, my man Jeff come through, who watched this live. I appreciate y'all for supporting me. I mean, this is why I do live because I know a lot of you guys. This is an opportunity y'all get to reach out and talk to women like her who are competitive bodybuilders because many of y'all fans. There's anytime I like this, it goes back to one of my favorite episodes of Chappelle's Show with when Charlie Murphy talked about the time when him and Eddie was hanging out and they met Prince. And Prince had a guy. Remember Nikki Free from the group Shalimar? He plays Jody Watley. Yeah, and then
Shalimar,
yeah. And remember, back then the dudes that looked like a bitch were getting a lot of women, and they thought Nikki was a chick, and said, "Hey, yo, Shalimar got a new girl. She's fine as a motherfucker. You're my new girl here. You're fine as a motherfucker." That's the guy say, "You got a new girl. She's fine as a motherfucker." But folks, women like her, give them the opportunity to stand up, support, reach out, genuine interest, guys. You get more with a silk glove than an iron fist. I know what you're doing with that iron fist. So don't be a weird guy. Come on. Oh God. He has to say something. He can't help it. He says, Sibel, I want to tell you something. You are beautiful.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I'm just a dog chasing cars. I don't do what I get one. I just do. I'm sorry about him. I got it. I'm seeing my specialist. We're trying to unite our personalities, but the problem is he completes me. So
He's my guilty pleasure.
yes, he is. He is. So, folks, we said thank you again to Sibel for coming through
Thank you
here,
so much.
sharing her story. Best of luck with the upcoming show. Best of luck with your
Thank
pro
you
card.
so
Hope you do it. If you want to come back here and shoot the shit, talk about that. You are welcome.
so
We can really go again. You don't want me to thank you. But folks, if you want to follow the link description, no guys, no weird shit, no nothing. She's a nice lady. Come on. If you want competitive, you want to maybe compete at her show, have a plan, put things together. If you can find sponsors to sponsor the trip, good. I think I got one more comment before I head out, and it is from my nephew Alex. I got a shout out to my next Alex. Alex is in the building. He says this. Shout out to Alex. He says, "Hey George, nice to meet you, Sibel." Thank you, Alex. He came last minute, son. Now you came the last minute, son. But you know what? We're into the crime, folks. Again, best of luck to Sibel on a pro card upcoming show. If you're interested, reach out in genuine interest. Be supportive. Be supportive. Come on, guys. These men and women need that. This is a tough sport. This sport is mentally, physically, emotionally, financially draining on any person. And if you can find a way to do that to help them, please, generally, with genuine interest and support. Don't be that weird guy. Anyway, folks, this is Male Always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. Good night, good luck, God bless. I'll see y'all next time.